Peace, everybody. Um, I had a conversation with a client, and it inspired me to actually make a video on this topic. So, basically, we was having a conversation, and kind of the subject of, the secrecy within the practice came about. Um, why so many spiritualists, the true practitioners, why they're so secretive about the information, why they can be hesitant to give out too much information, um, things of that nature. Why does a initiation cost so much? Why does it cost so much to get initiated into a practice, right? And I just wanted to unpack some of this stuff just for the family to understand what it is when you come in deeper into the spiritual, traditional spiritual community, which is very different than the greater spiritual community, what I like to say. Um, and when I say the greater spiritual community, I'm talking about, those people that are more into like the newer things that come about, these newer concepts, a lot of things that come with like Alex de Crossley stuff or Ron L. Hubbard stuff, things like that. I mean, these people are the ones that they talk about crystals for the most part, and they talk about things like past life readings and astral projecting, right? That's like the greater spiritual community. But the niche of the spiritual community that I'm speaking of are the true blue practitioners that we come out here and we make shit happen. Okay, so the Bakors, the Brujos, the Brujas, those people. This is the ones I'm speaking to: the Santeros, the Santeras, the Paleros, the Paleras, and those that follow behind those traditions or follow under those traditions. Why do people that you find in these traditions, why do they guard these things so tightly? There's a plethora of reasons for this, family. One of the reasons off the top is, a lot of people try to pry information out of you in skepticism. So that's one thing. Like, people, oftentimes I see this too. Like, oftentimes people that might be from like my hometown or something, that might be skeptics, they might try to ask questions, but the question ain't to like better themselves as a practitioner, because they're not in the practice. They're just looking for something to try to debate or to try to compare and contrast to something else. Those people don't get no information from me, right? But you also have people on the internet that do similar things, especially in the indigenous spiritual community, because a lot of times it ties back into the conscious community. So, you could get people, they really Hebrew Israelites. So why they asking you questions about voodoo? Just read the Bible. You feel me? Like, straight up, like, this happens. But another reason is also a lot of people are newer into the spiritual realm, and they're a part of that greater spiritual community. When I say greater, I'm talking about in population. So when you're coming new into that aspect of it, you're probably not even ready to take on the responsibilities of the traditional practices when we get into those indigenous practices. Like, somebody that just came from charging up crystals might not be ready to take care of a loa, because that's very different, right? Somebody that just came from like trying to astral project every night might not be ready to hold the responsibility of an nganga pot. And that's just what it is, because you got to realize that these people are coming from practices where it's not the same as like somebody in voodoo. You know what I'm saying? Like a crystal is an energy source, but it's not the same as dealing with a loa, right? Where like, let's say somebody from that community came into wanting to be just jumping all into the indigenous practices head first with no guide, or just like trying to take tidbits of information and run with that, right? Their life could just go into shambles very quickly. And this is the part that people don't understand. And this is where I got to keep it real as a practitioner, because y'all know I tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't care, because it don't make me no never mind to just make it everything, you know, roses and poppy seeds and sunflower fields. I don't care to paint my tradition like that, because that's not an accurate depiction of it. If you were somebody that you just want to jump in, this is how a lot of these people end up jumping into African traditional religion and get wrecked straight up, because they may not even hold the same seriousness on taking care of an altar. Or maybe, you know, they're dealing with a certain loa and they feel like they can treat it like a crystal. Maybe you skip the time where you charged it, or 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe you just fell back, and it, see, these people even can fall back from what they're doing and just relax for a few months. It's not like that when you have a spirit that you got to take care of. You understand? It's very different. And so let's just say, for instance, I taught one of these people how to call Mama Brigitte, and they go fucking up dealing with her. Mama Brigitte, unbeknownst to a lot of these people, will run down your family lineage and people will start dying. Like, this is the shit that people don't understand about this. You understand where I'm coming from, family? Like, and me as a practitioner, I got to protect people from their self as well. Like, you can't come asking questions like, how do I call Baron? That's a common one. How do I call Baron Samdi? How do I get in touch with Baron the Cementerio? Why do you want to get in touch with the equivalent of the Grim Reaper? What purpose do you have with the Baron? You never even worked with ancestors yet. So why are we skipping over ancestors, and we just jumping into Baron the Cementerio? We just going to skip ancestors. You understand? No, I will not teach you how to call bound. I will not teach you how to work with bound, because what's going to happen is you're going to get involved with the bound and you're going to fuck it up, and then you're going to be on the crossroad. I already see it. So we're not even going to go there. We're going to go through this route first. And if you can make it through the basics and ancestor stuff, maybe we can talk about that later. Maybe. See, and I'm even one that still takes the time to teach people when they come to me for stuff. But most practitioners are not going to do that unless you go through the rites of passages. So when you get into those things, people often complain, and well, why does it cost so much to get initiated? You know, to get initiated in the Haitian Voodoo, I think Condos is going for like 10,000 right now, right? You going into Santeria, shit, you might pay upwards of 15,000, right? You go into Ifa, Depending on the Orisha is going to depend on how much it costs. You might have paid 5,000, 6,000, and you have to do it in Nigeria. You see? But here's the thing. Why would they let y'all come in their shit for free? You didn't grow up studying at the feet of a Babalawu your whole life. You coming into this practice late 20s, early 30s, in your 40s. You skipped the whole line. So the least you can do is take care of the village by paying this high ass initiation price, for one. And for two, you can show a seriousness to actually want to learn this, that if they teach it to you, it's not going to just be a fad and then tomorrow, fuck it, you're not a santero no more. No. You're going to pay this much money because you're going to be tied into, you're going to be invested in this shit. Ain't no, you're going to walk in because people don't appreciate free. They really don't. You're not just going to walk into this tradition for free so that you can walk the fuck out when you feel like it and go do your thing. And then maybe tomorrow you become a fucking Buddhist. No, they're not going to do that. So rather they do that, you're going to pay this money and take care of the village, period. And furthermore, what people coming into this stuff got to understand is, just because you're somebody that got a lineage, even to like being Yoruba, it don't mean that you were meant to be no Babalawo. Because even the people that was alive in the time of the Oyo Empire that was born and bred there wasn't meant to be no Babalawos. Some of them were just meant to be devotees for their whole life. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. So a lot of these people, most of the people were not there to become Babas. And to, even when you go into the Caribbean, most of the people are not to become Wunga and Mambos. Most of the people are to be devotees of Vodou, followers of Vodou, that go seek the Loa through the help of the priest. That's where most people fall into. So this entitlement thing that's come today with the Black Power movement is just out of control. Motherfucker, you don't just automatically got the green light to just say, I'm just going to walk into being Santeria just because fuck that shit. I got a lineage to Cuba, so I have a right to be a Santero. Okay. We'll see how far that gets you. This stuff is not like that. And this is the thing people have to understand. And with that being said, you have to respect the protocols of those traditions. There's a reason for divinations. There's a reason for people, for the Baba to be doing readings and stuff to see what's your destiny, your old dues and things like that. If you're practicing Orisha tradition. There's reasons for all of this. And here's another thing that you got to realize too. Even when you do get initiated, if you are somebody who that priesthood feels like can't handle a certain amount of information, you're going to pay that money and still get spoon-fed. Believe that you're going to get spoon-fed the information, because they not finna give you the keys to go wreck yourself. They're not going to do it. So y'all got to understand that it's deeper than what y'all think. The only thing that these motherfuckers respect today in the modern world is money. So that's how the practitioners have to come and lay down laws and put things in order so that the tradition can stay with a certain amount of purity in it. Because they can't just give all this information out for free. A lot of us practitioners understand that even if you give out people information, there's a lot of people that will abuse this information. Like if I taught people how to do the stuff that you see me do to certain people in the conscious community, they would just go hexing every single person that they argued with on Facebook. They would go hexing family members that they don't have no business doing that to. They would go hexing friends and people just because they got pissed off. And that and as a practitioner, that I have a responsibility to understand that and not teach people that, and not teach your ass that. Because why? All you want to do is go around abusing this shit, hexing every motherfucker that break your heart, or every person that you feel disrespected by. You're going to be hexing people, taking people pictures because they took your parking spot and shit. Like, no, we not doing that. Because now that it's an abuse of power. So that's another reason why a lot of practitioners won't even teach you shit. Because why do they need to? They know the knowledge, and their kids are going to know the knowledge, and then they're fine with that. Because a lot of this stuff is lineal. A lot of this stuff is ancestral oral tradition that gets passed down from mouth to mouth. I learned this tradition through my abuela. So if that's the case, why do I need it? I don't have to teach nobody shit. All I got to do is teach my children, and that's it. It's done. I don't have to teach not one word. I don't have to come on this YouTube and utter not one word about the practice in teaching. I could just be one that say, come to me for the work, and that's it. Period. So out of the goodness of my heart, for the love of the tradition, I come on here and I give y'all pieces of information. If people sign on to my mentorship, I give them even bigger pieces of information, because that is just my way of bestowing things back into, our community, to help to empower people. But just understand that I'm not obligated to, and neither is no other practitioner. None of us are obligated to teach a motherfucker anything in the practice, point blank. Because most of us came in through this through secrecy. Most of us came in through this through grandparents, parents, or going through a godparent or an elder that was the equivalent of that. So yeah, we don't have to tell those secrets. We don't have to tell you anything. We can hold the secrets of our grandmothers and our grandfathers to ourselves. And that's just real, family. So there's a plethora of reasons why these spiritualists are more secretive in the information that they give out. They have a right to, because we are gatekeepers to the traditions. If you're a palero, you are a gatekeeper to Palo Mayombe. If you are a sancista, you are a gatekeeper to Puerto Rican voodoo. If you are a santero, you are a gatekeeper to Santeria. It's no way around it. It's no way around it. If you are a hoodoo worker, you are a gatekeeper to your family's secrets. Because see, when we get into hoodoo, we get into a lot of private family recipes, family secrets that got passed down the line. And you are a gatekeeper of that. So this is what people have to understand. When we come into these practices, this is not a thing where it's just all over Google. That's surface level information. It's not like being part of the greater spiritual community where you could just go online and just be learning about quantum healings and quantum physics and all this. It's not like that in these traditions. You need to learn from somebody, and somebody have to put you on game with something and teach you a thing or two, because it's not the same. All right. This is what people have to realize. When we get into the type of thing I'm talking about, this is born bred indigenous alchemy. No cut. There's no cut on this dope. It's raw dope. It ain't been stepped on. And we want to keep our dope pure. We don't want everybody stepping on our dope and they don't have no business stepping on it. This is what people gotta realize about these practices. And when you talking to these practitioners, a lot of practitioners can feel some type of way about people in a greater spiritual community, because a lot of times those people can even come to them with arrogance. And the practitioner is like, yo, motherfucker, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Because that practitioner know the shit that they know. It's that real shamanistic type of thing. This is the reality, family. This is the reality. I hope that, you know, I can inspire more practitioners that are into the ATRs, the African traditional religions, to kind of speak their pieces. You know, they're not going to give y'all the whole game. They're not going to do that. But at least to speak their pieces on things like this, because it's important for people to understand where we coming from when we talk like this. For real. Because people got respect, man. People really got to respect traditions. For real. We don't see, because as indigenous practitioners, we don't go around floating in the sky and shit. We're rooted in something. And those roots have to be protected. All right, those roots have to be protected. And that's why we act as gatekeepers to this knowledge. That's why you will never see me come on YouTube and say certain things that I know. YouTube, I know y'all learn a lot from my YouTube. But just know that the information that I give on YouTube is not even the surface of the stuff that I know about the practice. Just know that. This is like, if the practice was like, if we're talking like snow, the stuff that I give on YouTube is like snowflakes compared to like a whole iceberg underneath the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the stuff that I'm talking about. Things like that, I touch more on in my private mentorship, where people that are dedicated show their dedication by being persistent patrons of it, and they get more information because I know you serious. I'm not finna just be here giving out certain information for people to come on here and debate it and shit. Like, because what are we debating about? We're not debating. I'm telling you what it is. There's no debating. I'm not here to debate with Christians. That's why y'all don't see me in debates with people. That's why you don't see me on people's debate platforms. People have asked me to come on their debate platforms plenty of times, and I always turn it down, because what am I debating with y'all? I'm not finna sit here and debate my tradition with no fucking Hebrew Israelites and no Christians and no Muslims. I'm not doing that. Like, y'all can debate my clients and see what I did for them. Debate that. But for me to get on there and be debating and we having debates and getting philosophical, bifocal, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that, because for what? My tradition is my tradition. My culture is my culture. There's no debating my culture. And so that's also why you don't see a lot of real practitioners in these debate leagues trying to debate people. Because what are we debating about? What you going to debate me about? What Papa Legba likes as an offering? Like, what are you going to debate me about? The attributes of Saint Martha? Like, what are we debating? Because this is now my culture. This is my tradition. There's no debating that. There's no, what are we comparing? You understand? And that's why, because it's silly to me. Now, if Hebrew Israelite, y'all want to debate the Bible, then y'all do that. Y'all click up and y'all argue about passages. That's cool. That's what y'all do. But us amongst the practice, it's not even a lot of debating that even go on amongst each other. It's more of a sharing of information, the things that we might have found that the other might have not have found it. You see? So this is what I'm telling y'all, family. Appreciate the people that come on here and give y'all any type of information about any of this indigenous practices, any of these ATRs. Appreciate them, because honestly, they don't have to tell y'all shit. They don't have to say a motherfucking word. Truly, they don't. Trust me. Trust me. So appreciate those that are coming from the indigenous side of things. And, you know, take heed, take those nuggets of information and further your journeys with it. Become the master magician, become the master of your destiny, become the master of your path, okay? The master of your environment. Take those things and run with them, because it'll take you far in life. These nuggets that these people drop, you know, dope spiritualists like Leonard Almira, you know, like the Queen Adunola, right? These are dope spiritualists, right? And then you have elders that are still lingering around, like Professor James Small, right? These are good people to get insights from. You know, these are good people to get insights from, because you're going to get an authentic view of the culture. Notice I said the culture. All right. You're going to get the real type of viewpoints and shit like that. You know, teachings that are closer to the origin that you're looking for. Because if y'all on my page, you looking for indigenous spiritualism anyway. You looking for indigenous type of practices. What was on the earth before religion? When I say indigenous, I'm talking about the stuff that was on the earth around the world before Bibles, the Qurans, and Torahs and Septuagints and stuff came. That's what we talking about, the earth. So if you on my page and you following King Brujo, you following my page because those are the type of teachings that catch your interest. Those are the type of teachings that that fuel your soul, and that's what you're looking for. Okay. So with that being said, family, I'm happy to be a part of your journeys. You know, I like to come on here and give y'all insights so that you can progress yourself. And at the same time, you know, I'm going to keep it real about stuff in the traditions. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and I'm going to tell it to you how it's supposed to be, you know. And that's it. You know, stay lit, family. All right, boo.